What's going on, guys? Sky for Techlife today, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing the iPhone 6s. So we've had some coverage of it. We've already done our first look at that kind of stuff of the iPhone 6s, and we have talked about it a little bit. We're looking to do a hands-on in the future. We've already tested it out at our local Best Buy store a few days, and we should have a hands-on within the next hopefully a week. That's our goal. But today we're going to give you our full review of the iPhone 6s. So we've looked at the iPhone 6s. It's very similar. In very first impressions, it is very similar to the iPhone 6. I mean, there really is no difference other than the S that you can see. If I can get it up to you guys real quick. Bottom, as well as the option. So those are really the only two things that make it different in any way, shape, or form. Again, I'm very impressed in the iPhone 6s. I think it's a very decent phone. I think I've never had a problem with it. See, there's the S, as you can see there. Backing out of it now. I'm just trying to back out of the website. As you can see here, it's a very nice looking phone. But again, it's just like the iPhone 6. I can't emphasize that enough. It is very similar to iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. I mean, real speaking, the only major difference is that it has the 3D touch, which is the brand new Force Touch, pretty much. So as you can see here, let's see if I can show you a little clip. I don't know if I can or not. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Yeah, there you go. Here's a little clip showing you 3D touch on the iPhone 6s, as well as also the iPhone 6s Plus. So as you can see here, it elegantly moves over to the email. If you press harder, it will bring you into the actual email itself. So let's see if it'll do that real quick. There you go. It brings you into the email itself. So I gotta say, I think it's pretty cool. You can scroll through the photos. Obviously, it's how it's always been, and it's very impressive when you, in particular, get into an app. For example, let's see if they'll show you an app or app example like camera. It's very nice. I think it's pretty cool. It's a lot like a Vibrate, but a little lighter than a Vibrate. I can't really explain it too much without showing you or without you doing it in your hand. So here's a little example. As you can see here, there's the person's just holding on to the a photo, and it brings up the photo and/or video on the iPhone 6s. It's really cool. Another example. So see here, pressing down will make it go into an email, and pressing harder will bring it into the full email itself. So let's see if we'll scroll down a little more, show you some examples. It's very cool. I think it's pretty awesome, and it does work out. It goes through the whole OS. I think it's something I have to say. It really is something that goes throughout the whole OS of the phone. And it is the major thing of this. So as you can see here, here's a little example. When you're pressing on, for example, a phone dialer app, it'll bring you some recent contacts, as well as you can create a new contact. So I think it's pretty cool. It's maybe good for when you have friends or something like that. So here are a few examples of camera that you can have to take the selfie, the record video, record slow-mo, take a photo, that kind of stuff. I gotta say, it's something that's definitely throughout the whole OS. I think it's very nice. It's very impressive, very nice to look at. And it's very cool. I think it's weird, but moving over to the next topic, again, is next major difference is a brand new, for the very first time in camera or megapixel count upgrades ever since the iPhone 4S, is the 12 megapixel rear camera on the iPhone 6s that will also shoot 4K video as well as live photos. I have a few things to say about that. 12 megapixel camera, I mean, overall, it's fantastic. It definitely compares to phones like the S6 as well as the S6 Edge. However, for the Note 5 and S6 Edge Plus, I do personally feel as if you like photos that will pop a little bit more, then you're not going to like this camera too much. You're going to want to go for a phone like the Note 5 or the S6 Edge Plus, because it does pop a little bit more. It will overexpose the photos a little bit more than it would with the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. With these two phones, the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, it's more realistic. So if you want a more realistic shot, then you're going to want to go for the iPhone 6s. If you want a more lighted color or edited type of photo, or that is not realistic, then you're going to want to go for something like the Note 5 and other cameras like that. But overall, it's very impressive. I mean, it's just like last year's, it's very much so improved. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed. For the front-facing camera, it is a 5 megapixel front-facing camera. It's for the very first time 5 megapixels. Quite frankly, it is much better. Don't get me wrong, it's much better than the iPhone 6 as well as 6 Plus from last year. It is much better, all right? Don't get me wrong. But comparing it to something like the Note 5 or the S6 Edge Plus, I'm sorry I keep on giving this example, but this is a review and I've tested these phones out before. I have to give you my opinion. With both these phones, I feel as if 5 megapixels isn't a problem. But with it being so narrow with the shot, when you're taking a selfie, that's a problem. Because with phones like the Note 5 or the S6 Edge Plus, or even now the LG V10, which we've covered a few times on our channel, they have options or they have a wide angle shot. So if, let's say you want to take a selfie with like 5 other people, you can easily do that, or 3 to 5 other people. You can easily do that with these with the phones. However, unfortunately with the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, there is no wide camera, wide front-facing camera option. It's very narrow. You can't put in more than one person in the shot. That's kind of disappointing, quite frankly. I think that's something that Apple should improve in the iPhone 7. That's just my personal opinion. So something else is new is live photos. So basically, I don't know how to explain it too much, but let's say it comes on default. As you can see here, you take a normal photo. It's double the size of a normal photo. It's kind of like a video that you press. It's kind of weird. So here I'll show you some examples. So when you hold on there or 3D touch the screen, it will show you a series of videos from before and after you took the photo, had taken a photo. So there's a dog and that kind of stuff, the mountains, that kind of stuff, or the waterfall. It's pretty nice. I don't know how many people are actually going to use it, only because it takes up double the space. Especially if you're going for a 16 gig iPhone, chances are you're not going to be one of those users that actually use it. Next up is the 4K camera. This is pretty cool. I'll admit, I'm a very big fan of this. So as you can see here in the previous model, it came with 1920 by 1080 or 1080p screen. But with the brand new iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, it comes with a 4K camera, aka a 3840 by 2160 camera. It's really cool. It has over 8 million pixels. That is crazy. I gotta admit, it's very impressive. I'm a big fan of the 4K option. I think it's much better than other cameras. It is definitely this feature definitely makes it stand out compared to, for example, the Note 5. So just talk about iOS 9 real quick. I mean, this is our full review for a reason. We're talking about every little thing. With iOS 9, it works like a charm on this. There are occasional issues with it. I will be honest. There are issues with it. Maybe it's because of the Force Touch. I don't really know what it is. But it will lag up at times. It's kind of shocking for a flagship of 2015 coming from Apple. It does lag up. It will freeze up and will kind of stutter at times. The OS will freeze up, stutter, and then lag out. Quite frankly, I'm kind of shocked with that, because it has with 2 gigs of RAM, which we'll talk about in a second. But I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. I think it's pretty cool, but it does have its issues. And finally, we're going to talk about tech specs, and then we're going to head out of our review. For the iPhone 6s, it comes in a multitude of colors like silver, gold, space gray, and the brand new rose gold, which you see at the very end right there. I don't know how well you can see that. The capacity is 16, really, Apple, 16 gigabytes, 64 gigs, which I would definitely recommend going over the 16. Just go for the 64 as a bare minimum. And 128 gigs, which would definitely be something that people might consider. For the weight and dimensions, it is a little thicker and a little heavier than the previous generation, but that's due to the 3D touch. And that's just fine. Display is a 4.7-inch screen, obviously. 1334 by 750 pixel resolution with 326 pixels per inch. Hoping Apple fixes that next year and improves it to make it something that compares to the LG V10. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of the LG V10, I gotta admit. The chip obviously is Apple's own A9 processor, as well as the M9 Motion Core processor with 2 gigs of RAM, which is brand new for Apple. They've always gone for 1 gig. For the cameras, a 12 megapixel rear, obviously live photos, autofocus, focus pixels, all that kind of stuff. You can see all this. I'm not going to bore you with all this information, but there's a little rundown of it. All right, that's pretty much everything you can see. Touch ID obviously is back, and I gotta say, it's wicked fast. It is really fast. Once you press on the home button, it'll bring you right there. It's that fast. It's better than I've ever seen on any other device. Obviously, it's available on Mobile and Verizon. Obviously, other carriers depending on where you live. Location, obviously, you see here, everything like that. Obviously, comes with FaceTime video calling, all that kind of stuff. That's how it's always been ever since the iPhone 5, actually, for the on LTE. Improved Siri, where you can just say, "Hey Siri," come up. That's something that should have been here many years ago. Here's a little rundown of it. As you can see here, looks pretty similar. For battery life, feel good about a day. That's it. It does actually have a smaller battery. Unfortunately, that is the case. But it'll come with obviously the Apple EarPods, the revolutionary Apple EarPods with the remote mic, SIM card, that kind of stuff. And here are some other information about it. Alright, so in the box come with the iPhone with iOS 9. I don't know why they state that. The Apple EarPods, the lightning cable, the USB power adapter, and the documentation. That's it. And they have improved the box this year. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm going to give you my real quick conclusion of this. Very impressive, very nice. If you have an iPhone 6, I wouldn't recommend it, but anything below it, I would by far recommend getting the iPhone 6. It's a great phone overall. So I would personally, if you have anything older than the iPhone 6, go for the iPhone 6s. I have to say it, go for it. That's gonna be something that you're gonna want. One thing I found also interesting, a lot of you didn't know about this, but for some reason they got rid of the gold option for the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. It's kind of strange, but that is just a little weird. And as well as 128 gig options. A few things are kind of weird. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below as well. As always, be sure to head over to techlifetodayco.com for more tech news just like this. This has been Sky from Tech Life Today, signing off. Thanks for watching. Peace.